Hello everyone, Streetbull here with another analysis video. Today we're going to be checking out Cloud9 versus Team Impulse from Week 2, Day 2 of the 2015 NALCS Summer Split. TIP comes out with the standard 5-man defensive strat, whereas Cloud9 only sends Nautilus to cover the bot side of the map. After placing a ward in the island brush, Nautilus rejoins his team. Now make a note of this ward because TIP sees it being placed, so therefore they have the timer on it. Trinket wards last for 60 seconds at level 1, so TIP is going to know it dies at roughly 1:38 game time. C9 5-man invades TIP's red side jungle and they throw down deep wards to spot any potential lane swaps. Seeing this, Cloud9 mirrors them and they send Janna and Sivir into the bot side to do exactly the same thing. Now because Cloud9 didn't send 2 people down to the bot side at the beginning of the game, they only sent Nautilus, they actually don't have vision of their tri-brush entrance to the jungle, so they don't know for sure whether or not TIP invaded. They can assume, but they don't know 100%. Cloud9's bot lane decide to back and run through mid to avoid the deep wards just placed by Impulse. After placing those deep wards, Sivir and Janna decide to just wait before leaving the Cloud9 jungle. Nautilus's island ward is still alive for a little while longer and TIP knows this, so Sivir and Janna just wait until the ward dies to head to their lane. By this time, Lucian, Nautilus, and Gragas have all been spotted by TIP's wards and they know that C9 is sending their duo lane to bot. Preferring a lane swap, Impulse sends Sivir and Janna to top lane. To avoid the wards placed by Cloud9, Sivir and Janna run through mid. Now LeBlanc has to zone out Azir so that his teammates can pass by unseen. If he didn't do this, Azir probably would have seen Janna and Sivir as they crossed through and they might have been able to actually swap back in time, but they don't get that and Sivir goes directly to top lane to start farming. Now Janna is actually really not that useful in top lane right now because all Sivir is doing is farming. Janna's just going to be sitting around. So while Janna's not needed, she can make herself useful by invading Cloud9's jungle and harassing Maokai, who's trying to do his level 2 start by taking the wolf camp. Janna's actually really successful with this and she stops Maokai from finishing the big wolf in the camp and forces him to start double jungling with Gragas a bit sooner than he'd like to. Nautilus makes the mistake of spending a bit of time in lane with Lucian, and when he finally does leave to invade, it's a bit too late. Although he can't delay a camp, he can place a ward and give his team a bit of information, so now Cloud9 at least knows where Sejuani started, and therefore where she most likely is currently on the map. As I mentioned before, when the ADC is freezing like this, the support is freed up to roam, so Janna decides to take this opportunity to place another deep ward inside Cloud9's jungle, this time right on the other side of Gromp Wall. This will allow them to see in advance if C9 sends anybody top lane. Still double jungling, Gragas and Maokai take down bot side Scuttle Crab before checking out the wolf camp. Cloud9 knows for sure that Sejuani started the bot side of the jungle, but they don't know for sure if she took wolf camp as well or just Gromp and blue buff. They decide it's worth it to at least check since they're trying to coordinate timing with the wave of minions in bot. C9's bot lane minions crash into the turret just as they start the dragon. Nautilus goes in to help with the dragon while Lucian stays to last hit. Because C9's duo is bot, they have by far the superior dragon control. When lane swaps occur, whichever team has their duo in bot lane controls the bot side of the map, and therefore the dragon. So the ward placed by Nautilus earlier showing the cleared Gromp and blue camps tells Cloud9 that Sejuani is most likely on the top side of the map. So this, combined with the fact that they have the numbers advantage due to the lane swap, Cloud9 can take the first dragon of the game uncontested. Gragas and Maokai tank the dragon a bit more than necessary. Because of Nautilus' shield, he can take what's essentially free damage, so even though Gragas and Maokai are planning on recalling soon and they'll heal up in base, it's still safer to let Nautilus just tank the dragon for a bit, at least when he has his shield up. After dragon, Gragas and Maokai take the last remaining camp in their jungle and then back. Sejuani and Rumble take Cloud9's Gromp, blue, finish off the wolf Maokai left earlier, and then back themselves. Notice how both Sejuani and Rumble dropped wards before taking blue, and Sejuani also smited the wolf for the vision ghost. With these 3 pieces of vision, Team Impulse will be able to see whoever Cloud9 sends top. Sivir and Lucian push their respective lanes and finish off the turret. Nautilus and Janna recall before the turret dies for maximum efficiency. Okay, so the first chunk of the game is over, and here's a brief rundown of what's happened so far. TIP outmaneuvered Cloud9 during the level 1 and earned themselves a favorable lane swap. To try and counteract this, Cloud9 took an early dragon. Both sides killed each other's top and bottom outer turrets. C9 has the dragon advantage, but Impulse has the gold and experience lead. This means that Impulse is essentially stronger at the current moment, but Cloud9's dragon will be more useful the later the game goes. Now that there are turrets down, the lanes get shuffled. Impulse sends Rumble top to face Lucian and Nautilus, while Cloud9 sends Maokai bot to face Sivir and Janna. Instead of running directly to the lane with their partners, each support wards first. They take the time to set up a perimeter around where their AD carry is going to be. Sejuani heads to Wolves to get some farm. Gragas has no camps to take, so he heads to the bot side island brush and places a ward. This ward immediately pays off as it spots out a possible LeBlanc roam. With this ward, plus the one Maokai placed for himself in River Brush, Maokai should be relatively safe from ganks while he's alone in bot lane. Gragas still has no jungle to farm, so he looks for something else to do. He sees that the minion wave top is pushing in, and ganking Rumble is an option. Sejuani is still presumably farming her own jungle, and even if she does counter gank, it's still a 3v2 in favor of Cloud9. Rumble has a ward in his Tri-Brush, but Gragas quickly sweeps it. Even though Gragas has now been seen, it doesn't matter, and Cloud9 still dives. Maokai teleports to the minion tanking turret, and C9 waits patiently before making their move. Cloud9 waits until Maokai is just about to arrive before actually attacking Rumble. This prevents any early turret damage and keeps focus on the TP minion, which is of course invulnerable during the TP cast. Rumble could have actually escaped this by running to his inner turret as Lucian and Nautilus approached him earlier. He would have had to flash Nautilus' hook, but I think it would have been worth it to not give up first blood. Instead he dies and TP's back for the CS and experience. Basically, Impact made the choice to give up his life in exchange for CS and experience. If he had run like I had suggested, he would have been effectively zoned out from any CS or experience under his turret and had to blow flash. When Janna sees so many members of Cloud9 top, she backs and heads there to help. Leblanc tried to roam as well, but it was too late and she just turned around. Cloud9 stays top to try and take the turret as well, but the combo of Sejuani staying, Rumble TPing back, and Janna backing to come help allows Impulse to hold the turret and give Sivir some free time in bot lane. Janna stays top to 2v2 with Rumble against Lucian and Nautilus, while both junglers retreat to farm their own camps. Maokai is sent bot lane to 1v1 Sivir, who's pushing in the turret. Nautilus leads Lucian and roams mid to attempt a gank on Leblanc. He's stopped by a pink ward, but is more than happy to just kill it and leave. After taking Krugs, Sejuani heads to top Tri-Brush to see about a gank on Lucian. This is normally a good time to gank because Nautilus is gone and Lucian has no outer turret to fall back to, but unfortunately for Impulse, Lucian is smart and realizes with no Nautilus, he should be very passive. He stays far enough back to not allow any gank opportunities. Even if Lucian didn't respect the gank though, Rumble, Sejuani, and Janna aren't that strong right now. None of them are level 6, which means no ultimates. Until they hit level 6, it's reasonably hard for them to stop Lucian, and he would most likely evade any of their potential gank attempts. Leblanc sees Sejuani ping for blue, so she clears the wave and heads there to take it. While Leblanc is away from lane, she wants to limit the amount of CS and experience lost. Azir takes this time to start shoving the lane with plans to recall. Again, this limits the CS and experience lost while you're away. It also attempts to deny your opponent CS and experience by having their turret kill your minions. Eventually changing his mind, Azir decides to stay in lane. Sejuani drops a pink in the bot side island brush and clears a green ward. Although they lose a ward, this gives C9 info on where Sejuani is. Knowing she's been seen, Sejuani tries to just hang out in the fog for a while and wait to gank. Azir, knowing Sejuani's bot side, leans to the top side of mid lane. Sejuani waits for an opening, but none is given and she just gives up and turns around. Sejuani really wanted this gank because Azir is a good target to gank, and LeBlanc is a good target to gank for. Lots of Azirs will take Cleanse when they face a Sejuani because of this. Cleanse allows them to immediately get away from the Sejuani ultimate. Incarnation opted for Barrier though, which is stronger against LeBlanc 1v1. This is a better spell choice as long as he avoids the CC. If he doesn't avoid the CC, then Cleanse may have been the better option. Sejuani pings that she's on the way to top to help keep the turret alive. Lucian and Nautilus have been slowly chipping it down this whole time. Gragas knows the turret is almost dead and the wave is about to crash in, so he heads top as well to get the turret and possibly some kills. Gragas walks through Tri and places a ward in the brush between the two turrets. This will let C9 know if anyone leaves top turret for their jungle. Once Gragas has the vision protection, he heads straight for TIP's red buff. Gragas knows that Sejuani has to stay top to protect the turret, and this leaves her red buff wide open. Gragas could have stayed to try and siege the turret, but there's a timing window that opens with the wave crashing into the turret, so Gragas can take this red uncontested because of this clever use of wave control and map pressure. Note how Gragas drops a ward after taking the buff as well to see when Sejuani checks it. LeBlanc attempts another roam but gives up again because she's too late. Instead of trying to force a turret, Cloud9 used their pressure top to steal a red buff. Gragas takes Scuttle Crab and starts to head top. This is a good time to gank because Janna isn't 6 yet, which means she has no Monsoon to stop the gank. Gragas goes through the pinked Tri-Brush which Nautilus made sure to defend earlier. Gragas is unseen and has a great flank now. Sejuani spotted at a red by the ward that Gragas placed earlier, giving him the green light to fight in top. Nautilus waits in the brush and Lucian plays passive to not alert TIP of the gank. Once Gragas is in position, Nautilus hooks Janna and starts the fight. Janna flashes with Ignite and Nautilus ult on her and Rumble uses Equalizer, but it's a bit too far forward. Rumble used his ult before seeing Gragas, so it was out of position. The death charge hits Janna and Rumble is forced to flash away from Gragas' body slam. Gragas flashes after him, but doesn't land the body slam, so he ults. Lucian calls Janna, while Gragas stays on Rumble. Nautilus flashes to land the passive stun, and Rumble almost goes down. A beautiful dash ult from Sejuani freezes C9, giving Rumble some time to run. Gragas was tanking the turret, but backed out just in time, so no one on C9 is taking turret damage.
Lucian dash flashes to pick up the kill on Rumble, and Nautilus tanks a turret shot to land his stun on Sejuani so Lucian can walk out safely. Nautilus and Gragas take down the turret, and Lucian joins them to back in the brush. Cloud9 did a great job of using vision control and minion wave management to land themselves 2 kills and their second turret of the game.
Now that Team Impulse's top turret is dead and Dragon is back up, C9 sends their duo lane bot. Maokai clears his wave and backs to be as efficient as possible while handing off the bot lane. Leblanc clears her wave mid, then goes into the side brush and wards over the wall. She waits for her distortion, then jumps over that wall to ward Cloud9's Raptor camp. This is a great spot because it's not often swept by players and will give TIP knowledge of when Gragas takes this camp. Gragas hands off his blue to Azir, and Nautilus sets up a ward at the Dragon River crossing. This not only keeps eyes on Dragon, but it keeps Lucian safe in bot from potential ganks. Rumble shoves top lane and starts to head to the bot side of the map. LeBlanc shoves mid as well, but needs to back. Azir has completed his Morello Nomicon and LeBlanc has not yet finished hers, and LeBlanc now has enough gold to get it, so she recalls. Sejuani sweeps the river, taking out Nautilus's ward, and kills the Scuttle Crab. Rumble, who's been walking down this whole time, covers mid for LeBlanc while she's back. Nautilus walks in a river a bit to place another ward. Sivir and Janna shove bot and move to Dragon. Azir shoves mid and backs. So LeBlanc is back on the map now, so she retakes mid, and then Rumble heads back to his top lane. Team Impulse starts the Dragon, and Cloud9 is outnumbered with Azir still running back from base. C9 makes a half-hearted attempt to contest, and Team Impulse makes them pay. Sivir ults, and Rumble TPs, netting them an easy kill on Nautilus, who is without his flash. Nautilus uses his ult before dying, while Lucian and Gragas get any damage they can off while staying safe. Gragas walks forward a bit to land his ult, splitting up Team Impulse. Maokai starts his TP, while Sejuani ults Gragas, but without LeBlanc they don't have much burst, and Gragas survives. Team Impulse starts to retreat from the teleporting Maokai, but Rumble walks forward a bit to land an equalizer. Unfortunately, Janna monsoons at the same time and pushes Cloud9 out of it. Azir dashes forward and makes a beautiful flash ult to knock back 3 members of TIP. LeBlanc and Sivir both flash, but it's too late and Rumble and Sivir go down. C9 shouldn't have tried to contest the Dragon without even numbers, and they paid for it with Nautilus's life. On the flip side, TIP shouldn't have overcommit to chasing Gragas and Lucian, and they paid for it with Rumble and Sivir's lives. To be honest though, Team Impulse probably would have won this fight, or at least escaped had Janna not used her monsoon at that time. If Rumble and Janna coordinate their ultimates, C9 would have been a bad spot. Rumble once again is shoved top and is roaming to the middle of the map. Janna tries to take out C9's pink ward in bot Tribush, but Lucian stops her with some backup from Gragas and Nautilus. Janna throws down a ward to try and bait a clear from Cloud9, because Sejuani is coming into Dragon Pit and wants to dash over the wall, and Rumble is on his way as well. C9's River Ward sees Sejuani coming, and they decide to just back off. Sivir uses her Scrying Orb to get vision of the bush, and they finally clear the pink. Sejuani and Rumble continue to bot lane, where TIP just brute forces down the turret. Lucian calls the minion wave, but Team Impulse is just tanky enough they don't even need it. Sejuani walks up river to mid and is spotted by a ward. She gets just out of vision and dashes through the wall into the bot side mid lane brush. Cloud9 knows roughly where Sejuani is, but they don't know that she dashed into the brush. They most likely assume that she's on her way to red. Sejuani also knows she's currently not being seen because there's a pink ward in that brush. She pings for LeBlanc to come over, and the two lie in wait. Lucian's heading up from bot lane and walks right into TIP's trap. Azir and Gragas do some damage to Sez, but she's happy to eat it and just walk away laughing. This bush trap is a common setup used. You pink the brush so you know you're not seen, you ward over the wall so you see your enemy coming, and finally, you jump over the wall and kill them before they know what's going on. Maokai has top pushed with the intention of grouping. C9 joins forces in mid lane and try to push down the turret. Instead of attempting to clear the wave of minions against 3 people, LeBlanc just waits in the side brush. She eventually finds Lucian lagging behind and isolated from his team. LeBlanc combos Lucian, and he's forced to use both summoner spells to stay alive. Sivir easily wave clears mid and saves the turret. With no minion wave and their ADC dangerously low, Cloud9 is forced to back off. Sivir, Janna, and LeBlanc shove mid, and then LeBlanc heads to bot to split. She is seen by a pink ward, but it doesn't really matter that much. The minions in bot lane would have granted vision of her anyways. She kills it and continues to bot. Without vision of Cloud9's red side jungle though, LeBlanc decides it's unsafe to stay and just shoves to back. Sivir continues to wave clear mid with Janna. Sivir's one of the best AD carries at wave clearing because of her ricochet and her boomerang. Cloud9 group up mid with everyone except for Maokai, who has his TP available in just a second. They clear a pink ward and attempt to control the river. Dragon is up in around a minute, and both teams want to set up vision. Each side is tentative and wants to avoid an engage, but they both want to grab Scuttle Crab. Sejuani is able to smite it, and TIP gains vision control. Cloud9 continue to shove mid and clear wards around the river area. LeBlanc is coming back from base and heads to bot lane. She distortions over the Krug wall and places a great ward at C9's red buff. Cloud9 pings out the LeBlanc and her ward and attempt to bait. LeBlanc wants to steal the red buff, so C9 wants to make her think that she can.
Gragas starts the buff and pulls it back. Nautilus wards over the wall and they spot LeBlanc. Cloud9 immediately turns and they move to cut off her retreat. Nautilus ults and LeBlanc jumps away. The knockup lands and Nautilus hooks into his passive stun. Azir dashes forward and ults LeBlanc back. LeBlanc tries to flash towards her team but is knocked back again by the Emperor's Divide. LeBlanc immediately distortions the other direction to the safety of Rumble, who has teleported into a river ward and is coming through Tribrush. With the help of her clone passive and Lucian's heal, LeBlanc survives. With Team Impulse on their heels, Cloud9 can take an uncontested dragon, their second of the game. Knowing that several members of TIP have recalled, C9 groups mid and takes down the outer turret before backing to buy. Cloud9 did a great job of taking full advantage of the timing window. After the fight bought, TIP couldn't stop C9 for a small period of time. Cloud9 used this time to take not only dragon, but mid turret as well. Lucian is pushing top alone and Maokai is splitting bot lane against LeBlanc. The rest of C9 and TIP are around mid lane. LeBlanc chunks Maokai and pretends to recall in a bush. Now make note of this because it's going to come into play shortly. Gragas and Nautilus take the Scuttle Crab and then proceed to invade TIP's red side jungle. They ward up the red buff and narrowly miss Sejuani placing a pink ward. Gragas and Nautilus turn around and they face check the very same bush that was just pinked. Rumble starts the fight by ulting on top of the brush. Nautilus flashes away and Meteos makes the call to fight. Gragas turns and Maokai TPs to the ward in red pit. Sivir pops her ult and her, Janna, and Rumble run. Gragas knocks Sejuani back and she flashes over the Baron wall, but she has depth charge and ignite on her, and Azir finishes her off. While all this is happening though, Maokai's TP was cancelled by LeBlanc. Maokai actually ended up dying even after using his flash to try and escape. Balls tried to spot out LeBlanc with a sapling, but he's misplayed it and XiaoWeiXiao capitalized. Cloud9 knew it was a decent time to fight because Azir and Lucian are collapsing on the fight, Maokai has teleport, and they think that LeBlanc is recalled and is on her way from base. LeBlanc's fake recall earlier though paid off and Team Impulse is able to trade even on what could have been a losing fight. Lucian and Gragas go top to push the turret. After the Maokai kill, LeBlanc just shoves the wave and backs. Sivir, Rumble, and Janna clear mid and then run top to try and collapse on Lucian and Gragas. Cloud9 sees them though with their earlier placed wards and retreat before they're in danger. Jumping forward a bit, both teams take their blue buffs and settle into their strats. Team Impulse wants to split with LeBlanc and Cloud9 wants to group up and force fights. They jockey for position, but neither team gains much of an advantage until the next dragon. Rumble splits top and LeBlanc splits bottom. Dragon is up very soon, so Cloud9 groups and tries to set up vision. LeBlanc and Rumble shove their waves and prepare for the dragon contest. C9 starts dragon as soon as it spawns, but Team Impulse sees them with a ward. Rumble teleports to a ward in the brush, and Impulse starts their collapse. Sejuani leads the charge, and Azir, Lucian, and Nautilus break off to fight her. Sivir pops her ult, and Sejuani ults Lucian and Nautilus. Rumble lays down a beautiful equalizer, and LeBlanc bursts down Nautilus almost instantly. Lucian flashes into the dragon pit, but is followed by Sivir, who deletes him. Maokai twisted advances to LeBlanc, and Gragas uses his ult on her. Azir is being zoned in the back, but has to ult defensively. Sivir dodges the ult and chases him down. Azir dashes and flashes away, but a flash from Rumble secures the kill. Maokai is able to escape, but LeBlanc finishes off Gragas. TIP immediately turns to Baron and secure it easily while LeBlanc takes down mid-turret. Just like Cloud9 earlier, Team Impulse have done a great job of taking full advantage of their timing window, securing a Baron as well as a turret. This team fight went much better for Team Impulse because they did a great job of controlling C9's position. Janna's Monsoon was used to zone Azir out of the fight and was not a hindrance to Rumble's equalizer like it was in an earlier fight. With Azir rendered virtually useless and the rest of Cloud9 trapped in Dragon Pit, Team Impulse is able to easily clean up the scattered champions. After taking Baron, Team Impulse rushed Dragon to even things up at 2 apiece. LeBlanc continues to split bot, Sivir, Janna, and Rumble clear out mid, and Sejuani invades C9's jungle and places a ward at their red buff. LeBlanc has placed this exact same ward twice before in this game. Sivir grabs red and TIP group is forward to enact their Baroned up 4-1 split. Azir puts his turret passive up mid, but it's quickly taken down by Team Impulse. Lucian is bought to try and clear the way for Maokai, who's being demolished by LeBlanc. In the meantime, TIP is hard shoving the inner turret. Cloud9 cannot afford to stop them as they will die if they try to save it. Once the turret's down, Impulse rotates bot lane. This is coordinated with LeBlanc, who has the wave crashing in. TIP take the turret and then leave. LeBlanc shoves a wave mid and then heads to C9's newly spawned blue buff. Rumble and Janna clear a wave top and then back. Sivir kills Scuttle and Gromp while Sejuani deep wards and clears some of C9's. Both teams group up around Cloud9's inner top lane turret. Team Impulse has hopes to siege their way to a free turret in top, or possibly force an advantageous team fight. LeBlanc is positioned at the side of the tower trying to line up some harass. Cloud9 knows she's there though, and Azir lands some good poke on her. The combination of LeBlanc getting chunked and C9's wave clear is enough to force TIP back. Jumping forward a minute, TIP tried to 4-1 split for a bit but were thwarted by Cloud9's wave clear. We catch up with Lucian clearing a wave bottom and actually opening up a small timing window for C9. It's going to be another 25 seconds or so before bot lane turret has another minion wave crash into it, so Cloud9 takes this time to group up mid and attempt a Righteous Glory engage. This unfortunately fails and leaves bot lane unattended. LeBlanc takes the turret and eventually backs out. Dragon's up in about 30 seconds, so TIP prepare to take it for free. Rumble heads top to deal with a large wave of minions because he has teleport available. There is no contest and Team Impulse takes their third dragon of the game. LeBlanc stays bot lane and continues her split push. Cloud9 groups up in mid lane and doesn't send anyone to deal with LeBlanc. They finally ping her out and Maokai starts to head down, but he ends up turning around. C9 tries to force a fight mid, but Impulse just stalls until LeBlanc can successfully grab the inhibitor in bot lane. Knowing their inhibitor is gone, Cloud9 attempts a desperation Baron. Rumble TPs to a ward and LeBlanc has walked her way up to river in time. C9 has to back off of Baron to avoid being collapsed on. Cloud9 kites back for a moment, but Nautilus can't resist hooking an out of position Sivir. Nautilus follows up with his ult, and Sivir ult flashes away. Janna and Rumble pop their ults, while Impulse dives on the clustered C9 squad. Gragas and Azir use their ultimates to knock the attackers backwards, but Sejuani landed her ult at the exact same time, trapping 4 members of C9. Gragas body slams Rumble and Sejuani while Lucian flashes behind his team, immediately followed by Sej. Impulse's backline ignores Maokai and goes straight for the carries of Cloud9. Maokai eventually locks up Sivir, finally giving her an excuse to focus him. Sejuani ends up dying, but her team's able to finish off the remaining members of Cloud9. Once the chase is over, Team Impulse turns to take their second Baron. They finish Baron and grab C9's blue buff before backing to prepare the final push. Cloud9 never really wanted to do this Baron in the first place, but they needed to do something. Sivir purposefully puts herself in danger to get an engage out of Cloud9. Team Impulse is more than happy to fight in an area as confined as river. They also have that big gold lead as well. Sejuani and Rumble's ultimates hit nearly every member of Cloud9, and C9 was never really able to get a foothold in this fight. Knowing that bot lane will push itself because of the super minions, TIP sends LeBlanc top to split, while the rest of the team shoves mid. Maokai is stuck in bot lane trying to clear waves, while the rest of C9 go top, leaving no one to defend mid. Impulse takes the turret for free, while Cloud9 tries to flank them. Cloud9 knows that it's now or never. Nautilus ults Rumble, and Maokai follows up with a twisted advance into a backwards Q. Sivir and Janna both use their ults, but it's too late, and Rumble lays down his ult before dying. Gragas attempts to flank, but LeBlanc has planned the same thing from the opposite side. LeBlanc one-shots Azir, and Gragas ults Sivir towards Lucian and Maokai. LeBlanc nearly kills Lucian, forcing Maokai to W to her. LeBlanc jumps back to her distortion, dragging Maokai all the way over the wall. Balls botches his flash and dies for this mistake. Gragas is left to 1v4 and doesn't survive long. With 3 members of Cloud9 down, Impulse can just end the game. Cloud9 really didn't have too much of a chance in that last fight, unless Impulse severely misplayed things. Cloud9 started the game well, but couldn't transition that early lead into a win. Team Impulse used excellent map pressure and wave control to take down the new roster of Cloud9. That's the end, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe learned something as well. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe, and throw down any questions in the comment section, or feel free to contact me on Twitter @StreetBull. Thanks for watching, everyone. This is StreetBull signing off. See you guys next time.